So I was talking to a coworker the other day and mentioned something about ChatGPT, and they replied, "What's ChatGPT?" And I was blown away. For the past year, I have been using AI for everything. Like it is my second hand. It is not, I don't know if that sounded right, but that's not what I meant by it. Anyways, ChatGPT and other forms of AI, I honestly, I can't remember life before them, and I don't know how I would live life without them. So I thought I would get on here and kind of talk about this today, like what I'm using AI for, what AI can be used for that I haven't even tried yet, and kind of see what you guys are using it for because every day I'm learning new things and realizing how useful it is in basically everyday life. So, I just wanted to go over some things that I've been using it for, so maybe you can get some ideas. Therapist. Um, my insurance through the school system is not great. My copays are really high, and I've been looking for a therapist, and honestly, I just can't afford one. So I use this very basically. It's in a very basic way. Is that the right way to say it? Anyways, I input questions that I need advice on to ChatGPT and get responses. Now, is this actually therapy? I'm not really sure if you could consider it that, but it is helpful and it's pretty much all I can afford right now. So, therapy, one. Relationship coaching. I've kind of gotten back into the dating world. Well, I met someone and I don't know where it's going to go, but um, it's the first time in a really, really long time that I've actually liked someone. And as someone who has experienced trauma in the past from relationships, it's really hard for me to discern what's healthy and not healthy, what's a red flag or what's a green flag, because sometimes my radar goes off constantly and I'm constantly thinking that something is what it's not. So if I need messages analyzed, I'll put it in ChatGPT and tell them the situation and say, this is what was said. How do you think that um, I could interpret this? What's a good way to respond that seems interested but isn't overly interested? And I've used ChatGPT for that like many times. There's one particular red flag that scares me and is something I would want to avoid in relationships. And sometimes my radar goes off constantly about that. And in one situation, I put it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was like, no, doesn't seem like this person is abusive or anything like that. I don't want to get into too many details. I'm like trying to hold back. But I don't think they're like this, but this might be their attachment style. And so it was just really interesting. And I was using it a lot in the beginning, and now I've kind of like started trusting my own instincts on things, and I've kind of, eased back on it. Because the thing with ChatGPT is sometimes you'll put things in and they'll have you edit it or they'll write something for you, and it's very articulate, but it's not always how you would speak or how you would even phrase something. So I found that it was good for background knowledge, but it wasn't so good for like actually computing a response because it's just not me. And that I would be careful with that part of it. Chat GPT can be used for a co-parenting or divorce situation as a coach. You can put your conversations between you and the co-parent in Chat GPT and have them analyze it. You can also have them help you come up with friendly, appropriate responses that set firm boundaries. Yeah, so that's another way that's really helpful because sometimes you want to say certain things, but you know, if you say things in a certain way, it's just going to increase conflict. So Sometimes I will say what I want to say into ChatGPT and then say, would you mind editing this for me in a friendly, communicative way that is not aggressive, or, whatever you need to use it for. Another thing that I've used it for is a menu planner. In the past and recently, I've been trying to get out of debt, and we've been utilizing food pantries for um, basically just extra produce and meat. The ones that we have in Austin are really good, and they're a huge help. So I have like my grocery budget, but then I'll supplement my grocery budget with food pantry items. And sometimes you just get random things and you don't know how to use them. So I'll input all the ingredients into ChatGPT and I'll just say, I would like a list of 5 15 to 30-minute meals using these ingredients. You can input for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they'll just spit out a grocery list of additional things that you need to buy. And it will also give you a menu plan. And sometimes the recipes are weird and you just have to be like, that doesn't make sense. Can you please do this again? Because sometimes they put random ingredients together that you would never eat and it's just gross. So just be careful, read through it, but it's really helpful. Or it's just a good guideline. Like, it will give you a menu and a grocery list and you can just kind of like edit it, but it just gives you a good base to edit from. I also use ChatGPT for business coaching. I constantly put things into ChatGPT and have them analyze things. And in the past, honestly, this is probably the thing I like the best about ChatGPT. I tend to be a really indecisive person, and I can lean on other people too much to make decisions for me because decisions stress me out. And it just puts a burden on other people, on your friends, on your family members. And I found that ChatGPT takes that burden off of other people. I no longer ask other people, I'll ask ChatGPT for information, along with God. Every morning, I pray to God, I ask for advice, I ask God to lead my day, and I surrender to God's will for my life. So it's not that I only use ChatGPT and depend on ChatGPT or AI to make all my decisions, but it's just a good baseline, I guess, for helping you come up with pros and cons for things and just, different things that you need advice on. So I found that a lot of times with business, I get stuck in the planning phase and like picking my niche or picking my content pillars and asking ChatGPT what would be the most marketable way to go about this niche. And I just ask all these questions and just kind of like, if there's something that I'm obsessing about, I'll just put it in there and it just gives me answers, and I'm not constantly going to other people for advice. Marketing coach. I'm not great at marketing and sales, and ChatGPT is pretty good. So I'll just put things in, have as a social media manager or a marketing coach, please help me come up with a content plan for this month. These are my content pillars. These are the things I want to talk about. Everything is creative, frugal, for single moms, and ChatGPT will, come up with a list of content for the week or the day, the month. It's honestly crazy how fast it works, and it's just really helpful. And then I just edit it how I would want to use things. Another thing that you can use ChatGPT for is a travel guide. I'm about to get my taxes back and we want to go to somewhere fun for spring break, but I'm also trying to get out of debt. So it needs to be like maybe a weekend trip somewhere. And I can just put in the budget that I want to spend, that we're going to be driving our car. We need to bring our dog along. What's a fun place to go that's under this amount of money? And these are the things we like to do. And ChatGPT will just spit out an itinerary for you. It's awesome. ChatGPT is also a really good financial coach. They can help you with your budget. You can input how much money you're making and what you want to spend it on, what your living expenses are, and they can just kind of help you come up with a good guide for your budget and how much money to save, invest, spend, tithe, where you can save money. It's really helpful. So yeah, I wrote down social media manager, content creator. It can help you create content. You can go into ChatGPT or Write Blogger. I prefer Write Blogger for this, and ask them to help you create content in your niche for your social media or YouTube channel or blog posts. And you can also take one of those forms of media and create it in another area. I'm blanking on the word, but so say you have a YouTube video, it will make from your YouTube video, it will make a blog post for you, which is super helpful. And then you can put it on your blog. And I actually need to start doing that because I made so many YouTube videos and I'm like, God, I could be filling my blog up with information because some people like to read and some people like to watch a video and some people want both options. And it's really good to have the blog post, but then put the video from YouTube in there as well. Another thing that ChatGPT is really good for is educational consulting and IEP writing. Now, you have to be really careful with this. You can't put in anything that can identify a student or, any identifying factors about that. But like, say you're doing a lesson plan on transportation and you want to come up with a lesson plan for the week or morning meeting or small group, you can put in what your content theme is and ChatGPT in the grade level that you're using and any accommodations that you need for kids that have special needs or whoever's in your classroom, and ChatGPT can come up with a plan for you. And it's obviously something that you always need to fact check. Like, don't just trust ChatGPT to just give you the right answers, but it is, like I've said 5 million times in this video, it's just a good baseline. The other thing is IEP writing. Sometimes I will just say, I have a student in this grade that has this developmental disability and they're struggling in this area and they excel in this area. Please help me come up with a good goal for their specific needs. And ChatGPT will come up with goals, or they'll come up with just certain things on the IEP that you need to input, that just where you can write stuff into the IEP. You can write a paragraph of something and then put it into ChatGPT to be more articulate with it and have ChatGPT edit it. I do that a lot. I have them edit. Another thing that's really helpful is, say you need to write a letter to parents or a newsletter to parents and you don't have a lot of time, you can say, we're doing this week, and just jot down a few notes. Please help me write a letter to my parents, letting them know what we're doing this week in class. And ChatGPT can come up with the whole thing. They can do that for your business, write a newsletter. It's just so helpful. We don't have to do it all anymore. Like, I love writing. And when I use it for blog posts, I use it for the outline, and I'll have it sometimes write my blog post. But then I go back in and I do all the storytelling, because sometimes I just get bored writing the instructions and I just want to talk about the reasons behind certain things, or like my story of why I do things a certain way, or I just find that interesting. And I think that's what people really want to, read. I feel like a lot of times too, blog posts are just, they want you to write long ones, but I feel like people aren't really reading them anymore. I think they just want to get to the information and they don't really feel like reading through everything. So you can, use ChatGPT to structure things however you want them in a blog post. And yeah, so those are the few ways that the many ways that I use ChatGPT and AI in everyday life. How are you using it? I would love to hear in the comments what you use it for and how it's benefited you. And I'm just always curious. I'm like, what else can I use this for? And, online, they have a lot of prompts that you can use that would make sometimes I don't really follow prompts. I just kind of put it in however I want to ask the question. But there are so many ways that prompts will help you structure the question in a way that ChatGPT can answer more, um, like in a more beneficial way. So that's all I've got. And I would love to hear how you use it and any comments that you have. So, anyways, I'll see you tomorrow.